Welcome, everyone. Today is May 5th, 2025, to our regular public forum at the Austintown Senior Center.
I just told him we were gonna give him 5 minutes.
Oh, well,
Okay, all right, we'll talk.
So, well, while we're here, I'm going to talk. I'd like to take a moment of silence. We had two retired staff pass, and maybe some of you remember them. Joe Keller, he retired a couple years ago from the road department. He was a 20-year vet and passed away recently. And then I don't know if you guys remember at the PD, Andy Fergus. Andy Fergus, that was quite some time ago. Lori, wasn't it?
I think he retired in '93.
93, way, way back. And he recently passed. So if you don't mind, if we could have a moment of silence for two retired staff deceased, please. Amen. Thank you.
Yeah, I told him I'd give him till about 7:00 before he gets the other.
In case somebody went to the other place.
Yeah.
So we'll start about 2 minutes. We're going to give some people some extra time in case they go to the wrong door. Or the township hall. Well, they might be really late if they go there.
Okay. He's just.
I had wine. I wanted to. It was saying.
Just.
Mr. Chalecki, it's good to see you.
I'm back.
How you feeling?
Feeling good. Am I okay?
Good.
I'm good here.
I saw you in the gym this morning. Good for you. Glad to have you.
Got the bill today, wouldn't believe it, $90,000 for one day.
Oh my gosh. One day?
Surgery, one day surgery overnight, that's 90 grand.
Judas. Mike. How you been? That's great. I seen Jen. Bumped into him at track and field the other day.
What's that?
I saw him at track and field the other day.
Oh,
In the rain, cold. All right, we'll stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Santos?
Here.
Mr. Shepherd?
Present.
Here.
So I'd like to do our little introduction here. To my right, our township administrator, Mark Diapolito. To his right, Darren Crivelli, our zoning inspector. His predecessor, Don Mulchin. Our chief of police, Val Damont. Our fire chief is doing a good job. I'm impressed. David Schertzer, park supervisor, Todd Schaefer. Senior Center, Jim Henshaw. To my far left, our fiscal officer, Lori Wolf. Trustee Monica Devers. And to my right, Trustee Robert Santos. And myself, Bruce Chavez. So we need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 3rd, 2025, and public staff meeting of March 17th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Devers?
Yes.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
So what we'll do is, in the beginning, for those of you that may not have been here in quite some time, we have our public comments first. And the reason for that is, as you guys are all looking at the agenda, and normally at Township Hall, it's posted up on the TV. We encourage you to speak. I mean, maybe there's some information that we may not be aware of, or some advice you may have for us before we make any type of voting decision. Or maybe it's just some good faith stuff, some activities in the community, or maybe some concerns that you may or may not have. You have 3 minutes to speak. You have to step up here, state your full name and your address, and we'll give you the 3 minutes. And if it requires a response, we'll respond. And sometimes we can't respond when it's due to personnel issues. I hope most of you probably know that. Some of you probably don't. And maybe at the time of the motion, we'll probably address some of those issues or questions you may have. So would anybody like to speak? Anybody at all? John Machishka. Yes, sir.
John Machishka, and I live at 3942 Artmar Drive. I was here on April 7th at the last regular meeting, and I gave you guys a letter, and I had 3 concerns, and I felt very disrespected from you 3 trustees that when I gave my concerns and sat down there, you didn't have the decency to at least say that you would look into them or you would get back to me with my concerns. So it's been a month. Do you guys have any, is there any response to my 3 concerns I gave you?
John, that day, one of your third concern, I don't recall it specifically, but it was addressed at that day at the meeting. The other 2 were reference to personnel issues, and we cannot negotiate. It's under negotiations. We cannot discuss that. Can't discuss personnel with you guys. Personnel issues.
Why didn't you just at least have the decency to tell me or talk to me? I've been in government a long time.
Well, then you should know,
Mr.
John.
And I do. But the thing was, you could have at least said that you were in negotiations, or you would get back to me when they were done.
Okay, well,
That's all you had to say.
I just did.
Well, that's a month. I said, and Bob,
You have my phone number, John. You can call me anytime.
You have my number too. That's what I'm saying. I am a resident. I vote for you guys to go into office.
You know what? You're absolutely right. We rang that bell, can't unring it. We're letting you know now. You now know. Anything personnel related, we can't discuss, especially an ongoing CBA contract. Now, once those contracts are official and they've been signed, then yes, it's public record. But until then, as you are aware, we can't. So with that being said, to answer your question, you're right, we were wrong.
But it
Our
took
bad.
you a whole month?
So,
It took you a whole month, Bob? And that you had to go on everything Austintown
Yes.
to say things about me?
well,
That was really disrespectful for me. Because
okay.
I've been a long time resident. You haven't been?
Let me comment on that. You're right. I've been all around this world. I chose this to be my home.
Well,
I
that's
wasn't
fine.
born, right, I wasn't born here.
That's
I'm not
fine.
from here, but I've been all around the world, and I chose Austintown to be my home, which many individuals, especially the voters of Austintown, deemed worthy enough to be elected as their trustee.
Well, that's fine. But the thing is,
No, it's okay.
you haven't been here as long as I have.
But I've done my knowledge.
And
I've done
I've
my
been here
research.
68 years.
And then.
And this is really concerning because I've never had 3 trustees never answer a question when I've come with one.
Okay.
And wait that long. That's what I get upset with politicians that don't want to answer or even acknowledge somebody and say, hey, we'll get back to you or we're under something.
All right.
None of you guys even had the
We'll get back to
decency
you,
to call
sir.
me.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
comments.
Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie Guzzo at 3919 Potomac Avenue. I'm speaking on behalf of the Memorial Day Parade. Sam Swagger couldn't make it tonight. He has some health issues, so I was asked to speak on it. The parade will be on Monday, May 26th of this year. Setup will be from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. at Mark's parking lot on Mahoning Avenue. The parade will start at 10 a.m. heading down south on Idaho to the high school, and then there will be a ceremony held after at the high school. And then I also want to kind of give a little update on the 9/11 Memorial Park. We are scheduling our annual cleanup for Saturday, May 17th at 9 a.m. Our rain date will be scheduled for the following Saturday, the 24th at 9 a.m. This year, Austintown Home Depot, they applied for a grant and they are donating and spreading the mulch at the park. So we like to thank Chris Martin for applying for that grant and receiving that grant, and all of their employees at Austintown Home Depot. We also have started the process for the walkthrough museum that we are having placed there. Last year received a $50,000 grant from the federal, and so we have the plans being drawn up by Tracy Kaglick with Olsavsky Geminette, and those are to be submitted to the Mahoning County Building Department, the Austintown Fire Department, and Austintown Zoning Department. And then once we receive those, we are working with City Concrete and the Austintown Road Department to have the cement pad removed and replaced so that it's compliant with the building code. And that's all I have.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Almost tore it down.
What time did you say cleanup started?
For the parade?
No.
Oh,
for the park.
9 a.m. both
Thank
days.
you.
Anyone else?
Cheryl Altizer, 4402 Barrington Drive. I have just something that's been bugging me. The electrical aggregate that just passed. What is the process to determine the rate for Austintown residents? Who negotiates that? Who came up with the 9.33?
I can give you the layman's speech on it. Mark, would you like to give the,
Go ahead and go first, and then I'll elaborate.
and you can clean up anything that, I'll make it simple. So in May, our Austintown's 12-month agreement is expiring, right? Or
Right.
it's May now, yeah. So normally 30 to 45 days prior to that date, we get with a brokerage and they reach out amongst to all the different energy companies. And to be honest with you, there's only like 3 real energy companies. Most of them are paper companies. For example, Energy Harbor is who we in Austintown had last year. They are now Dynegy.
Right?
Okay. So it's like the stock market. Every single day, that rate changes. Every single day. And it just happens the day that we agreed to those terms, it was 0.0933 per kilowatt. Could it have changed? Could it have dropped the next day? Could it have went, up? Yes, it could. Our brokers advised us that they believe it'll hit 10 or 11 come midsummer. Maybe air conditioning. I don't know what the reasoning is. But what we thought was extremely important was that we, Austintown, the residents, number one, have an opt-out option at no charge. And that's what we did. So you, the taxpayer, and myself, I'm a business owner too. I mean, it's expensive. I have a $900 electric bill. I can't even imagine what it's gonna be here next month. So, but I can shop it myself, just like I encourage all of you to do. Shop it yourselves, utilize the free opt-out program, and if you find a better rate, hey, good for you, right? Also, I would caution you and others, while shopping, please make sure, in my opinion, we believe that the fixed rate was extremely important. Where if you go online now, I don't know, because I'm not gonna quote exactly which companies, but yeah, it might be a point or 2 points lower. However, it's a variable rate, or like a credit card, an introductory rate, where, oh, we'll sell you on this, it's 2 points cheaper, but in 3 months it goes up 4 points, or then it goes to a variable rate. That's how it works. I mean, I hope, did I answer your questions?
Well, you did, except why are we the highest rate across the area? I mean, look at Boardman Township. What's Boardman Township? We're 9.33. They're 8.04. Where's Canfield? 8.66. Poland, 8.69. Youngstown, 7.99. I can keep going. Why are we so high?
So Canfield, when we were in Columbus, as we go down there so frequently, apparently now, we'll be there Wednesday fighting for Austintown. We were talking with a company called NOPEC. NOPEC, and that's who Canfield has at a lower rate. NOPEC, we brought them in, sat down with them, they could not accommodate us while negotiating with Canfield, and they could not meet our deadline of May. So we were turned away by them, to be honest with you. We were gonna go with NOPEC at the time, we were unable to, so the next best number that we got was through Denergy. Go ahead, Mark, please.
So we work with a company called Independent Energy Consultants. They represented historically most of Mahoning County and had most of us on the same approximate schedule, where we'd all come due in the first quarter of the year. Canfield broke away this year and went to NOPEC because they saw the rising rates. We tried to break away and go to NOPEC, and NOPEC hadn't purchased enough capacity for Austintown, because when these companies look at a community, they're looking at a lot of data on our community. They're looking at our electrical usage, our payment rate, our collection rate. They go over all the history, and our broker compiles all that for them. Then they go around and shop with different companies, and the market moves like a stock market. And our township aggregation program is intended to be the neutral fund. It's not intended to be the lowest rate. In no year in history was it the lowest rate on apples to apples, as far as I'm aware. But what we provide is a stable place for you, the homeowner that doesn't have the time to regularly shop apples to apples, to read the fine print. You can come and go from the program at will, which is a major factor in the pricing models, because that places a lot more risk on the vendor that's selling it, because they purchase electrical credits. So they're trying to figure out how many credits for the electrical grid I need to buy to service Austintown. And if they haven't purchased those, then they're at the default rate and they're losing money, and vice versa. Does that make sense?
It does, but I'm just so disappointed that we 9.33 is high.
A lot of it.
I opted out. I took the time, researched it, made the calls to opt out and get a lower rate for myself.
What I would do for you is make sure you be careful when you come towards that deadline. There is a 2-month changeover time, so make sure you're prepared to start researching prior to that 2 month, because if you let it expire, then you could be stuck with whatever rate that company deems fit. So that's why I was saying some of these things you just gotta be careful. Like I myself, I don't have the time, so I'm just gonna stick with it. I know it stinks.
It
You know,
does
it's like-
stink.
It stinks.
I
but-
researched it, it's fixed, no early termination fee, no monthly fee. I got it for 36 months, just in case.
Okay, I just wanna tell you that we signed this contract only for 1 year. So, due to the fact that I will admit that it wasn't the best rate, but it's 1 year only. You signed for 3 years, now when you get to opt out of that, what if we get a better rate next year?
I can opt out with no cost.
That's good.
Great, that's
I
awesome,
agree.
that's awesome. And we also did tell everybody, go to Apples and Apples and check it out.
Yeah.
But
I
I
did,
do
and
want
so did-
everybody to know, we only signed 1 year, we didn't sign no 3-year contract like we
We
have done
anticipate it
in
to go
previous.
down.
But that,
We
we
anticipate.
anticipate that it will go down next year and hopefully we'll get a better rate.
And I can opt out at that point, but it just seems like with all these budget crunches, that highest rate around is just not helping us. It could pay for dogs, it
Well,
could pay for
actually,
police department.
I looked at it about 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't find probably 1 or 2 that were lower than 9. Everything else is up there in 11s and 12s, like Mr. Shepherd says. It's like the stock market, it goes up and down every day, and we say what it is, a gamble. We thought this was a good rate, we thought it was gonna go up. Obviously, for the next week, it did go down, but the
It
week
did go down.
afterwards, it jacked right back up. So it's kinda like, you have to do what we feel is right, which is why, like Mr. Shepherd says, you as a resident have a right to opt in or opt out.
It's disappointing, because it wasn't in the best interest of us residents to have that aggregate program.
Anyone else?
There's a couple back there.
Andy Pizzello, 2960 Spring Meadow Circle. Just to answer that question, it's like anything else. They're telling you the answer. Shop. It's not that hard. Get online, find the best rates at the lowest cost, fixed. Early termination fees canceled. It's not hard. You can do it. I do it all the time for electric in my gas. My electric is fixed 18 months for 7.62. Now, I did that early. Keep doing it. That's the way to do it. You can't expect our trustees to do anything they can't do with rates. They change all the time. So it's up to us as individuals to shop. We shop at other things, so shop for electric and gas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
William Musser, 1284 Cavalcade, 45 years. 2 times survived from cancer. My road in front of my driveway got a dip on Cavalcade, and keep hitting it. Shortly it comes up. The roads have been repaired. Patch after patch after patch. I even went out and went back myself. And right around the corner of Windthorpe, it's so rough going in there. I know you allocated all the money already, I don't know, but I would love to have that repaired already.
What was your address, sir?
1284 Cavalcade.
Mark's gonna check the list.
I don't know the list with them. Make a note.
We'll make a known check. Worst case scenario, I'll drive it. I know I do. I know Mark. will
Well,
check.
I mean, I could hear it all night when they speed up and down it, they bam. And at one time we popped the sewer lit up.
Is that off Kirk Road?
Cavalcade Drive.
Off a new road.
Bexley?
Off of Idaho, Woodhurst, and then goes around Cavalcade.
Sir, if you can come up for a second. What's your plan?
330. We'll be back in a moment. William Musser, U.S. here.
Mersda, I think it's you.
That's for last. I'm Officer Mirza, Austintown Police Department. I've been employed at this department for 8 years now. I've been a police officer.
Be respectful.
I've been a police officer for 24 years. Of those 24 years, I've been a canine handler for 15 of them. Of those 15, I've been a canine trainer and instructor for 11 years. So I wanted to come in today and talk about the importance of maintaining our canine program. Aside from the dogs being able to indicate on illegal narcotics, they do tracking, they do building searches, area searches, article searches, and criminal apprehension. They are a huge deterrent to the police officers in so many ways. A lot of bad guys will tell you that they gave up simply because the dog was there. Boardman just had a guy held up in a hotel, and he blatantly said the only reason, and before the officers got there, he was claiming that he was going to suicide by cop. I'm sure you've heard that term before. It's a nasty term, but once the dog arrived on scene, he decided that and he gave up without incident. So that's one of them. I know Officer McFadden responded to a violent domestic, and the lady was struck in the face with a pipe. Officer McFadden tracked the husband down, and he gave up simply because the dog was there. Could have got nasty from there. Who knows if he was still armed or not. That's happened so many instances. So that's one aspect of it. Being that our department is slowly going down and the amount of officers that we have a building search where we need to search a house or one of our local businesses for a break-in. It could take up all 5 guys that are working. Whereas if you have a dog on the road, you're looking at maybe 2 officers and a dog, and it will clear that building in a matter of minutes. These dogs are amazing. They can find people hiding in ceilings, in floors, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just another aspect of us having it. Before I came here, I worked for another police department, Struthers Police Department. I worked there for 16 years. I created their first K-9 program, and I did it through donations. And since that time, that program, and they kept it running the way I had it going. They're now up to 3 dogs, and it's self-sustained through donations. And so that's another one I'd like to take. So at this point, I won't take up any more time. I'd just like to respectfully ask that you guys maybe table the idea of dismantling the K-9 program. This way that maybe Brad and I can sit down and talk further with you and find other avenues, alternate funding. So for
Under police matters, first, we'll address that. Thank you
Okay.
for your comments.
Oh, also, real quick, I'm sorry. You guys were provided with the statistics, the stat sheet.
I received them.
So those stats are from May of '24 to December of '24. And the reason you only have those stats are because we used to utilize a program called CATS K9. And it was a K9 tracking system, which we were able to download all of our training, all of our vet bills, incident reports, everything and anything. I mean, the system is outstanding, but we terminated the use of that in order to help save money for the township. So once I get access back into that system, I will be able to get you some more statistics all the way back to the inception of mine and Brad's dogs. If you need them, want them, they'll be there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, then we'll move on. Administrators report, Mr. Diablo.
All right, well, the first announcement I have, I think, is welcome news. We are proceeding with a joint project with Weathersfield to resurface County Line Road and Webb Road. That's being funded through a federal grant with only minimal cost to the township, and the engineering is being provided by the Trumbull County Engineer's Office. So that is a joint project with a value of $906,000 that we're able to bring to the township here with really only minor incidental costs. Our regular paving program is gonna kick off sometime in end of June, beginning of July this year. And I will be heading out to review roads for the 2027 program, which will probably be slightly smaller than the past couple, as we'll only be receiving a half a year collection of the Mahoning County sales tax at this time, because that program's expiring. They've had a 0.25% sales tax that has funded us. If they choose to keep it, we'll get that second half of the collection, and that will greatly help us. Also, tomorrow, issue 2 is a statewide issue that'll be on the ballot. That issue typically generates about $224,000 in grant funding for the township that helps pay for our resurfacing cost, and that will also come into play when we're developing the 2027 paving list. That, I think that concludes my report.
Thank you. So we need a motion,
No, there's no motion
No.
necessary, that's all been
just news.
previously approved.
Just news. Police chief.
Some of that have our statistics for the month of April. We had 1,544 calls for service. That's down just about 80 from this time last year. Of those calls, 195 were reports, 48 arrests, 272 traffic stops, and 48 accidents. Current trend right now, we're seeing a lot of theft from autos and auto thefts. So I would just like to remind the community to make sure that they are locking your doors and that you're not leaving any valuables in your car, especially visible.
Okay. Does that conclude the report?
That's no report.
All right. So I see a motion See a motion one to early retire both Austintown Township K-9 officers, Gunny and, is it Eros? Eros. Thank you. Eros, thank you. Effective July 6, 2025. Handlers shall have the opportunity to purchase the K-9 for $1. Before we move this motion, Chief, I asked of you to find out some details and some statistics. Can you give us your professional opinion on these stats?
Due to the obvious financial issues that we're having right now, I was asked to evaluate the K-9 program. Our K-9 program currently consists of 2 handlers and 2 K-9s. The cost for the year to have those K-9s is between $19,000 and $20,000, indicating that if we ended the program by early retirement, that we would save approximately $10,000 this year and $20,000 next year. I have been provided with statistics of the K-9 program. Last year, between May and December of 2024, the K-9 program had approximately 29 deployments, 7 arrests, 12 searches, 13 tracks, 2 community events or demos, and all of that was within 8 months.
When were the dogs originally gonna retire? I know, we talked about early retirement now possibly. Were they scheduled soon?
The dogs have approximately 2 years of service life left, and that's an estimate. We can't predict when they would need to be retired or when they would, how long they can work. But a rough estimate that the K-9 handlers gave me was approximately 2 years.
Okay. Anything else? So moving forward, MRSA. This motion is on the agenda, and we're gonna move forward with it to a vote. The Board of Trustees, along with the Township Administrator and your Chief of Police, are in agreement that this motion is gonna move forward tonight to a vote. However, I know that we talked about things and you had some very good points about raising money. This does not take effect until July 6th. So I challenge you and McFadden to make it happen. Find an alternate way of funding. Talk to your union, consider what we discussed. You got 2 months. And the board will bring this back and we can re-vote on it. We can reevaluate it before July. I'll make a motion to early retire both Austintown Township K-9 officers, Gunny and Eros. Thank you. Effective July 6, 2025, handlers shall have the opportunity to purchase the K-9 for $1.
I have a question before we do that. Good to go. You guys gonna call me tomorrow? If I vote, I'm gonna figure out how to word this, so. I love our police. This is the last thing I wanna do. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm probably right now, with the chief's recommendation, I'm gonna vote yes, but I want you guys to call me tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have seen how much I advocate for, but I will be more than happy to help raise the funds or advocate for them very quickly so we can set up the program that you did in Struthers. I want to see that happen.
Well, that was one of the things. I mean, it's a little more intricate than just going out and asking for money. I mean, that's why I wanted the opportunity to sit down with everybody.
We have 4 meetings between now and July 6th, and you and the FOP, which I know we've already discussed with, and along with your chief, you guys are all more than welcome to come to the table, and we could have discussions 4 times if needed before July 6th to come up with an alternative solution. Is that fair?
Yep.
Thank you.
I would feel comfortable that way.
Absolutely.
I didn't hear that.
I would feel comfortable knowing that we still have an avenue to retract this. We do have to move forward. We do have a financial that we have to take care of. We gotta be good stewards of our money. Obviously, the chief of the police is the chief of the police. I'm not the chief of police. I only served in the Marine Corps. It's a totally different animal than what you guys do every day. So we do have to take her advice to heart. but I definitely wanna do everything in our power to find alternative solutions for this.
When, I talked to Chief, she said she mentioned this to you quite some time, maybe 6 weeks ago. About us. And at that time, you felt that that was coming.
I did.
And can you tell me why you didn't reach out to us?
I didn't want to put the idea in your head.
But the idea was already there because we did talk to Chief, and Chief talked to you.
No, I think
So-
the chief and I spoke, and I think I said that to her before it came out, I think. Her.
So you expected some of this to happen?
I did, just because of where we're going, where the
So-
township's headed.
So we're not out of place in mentioning to have this done. This is, if you expected it, we're not out of character here.
Not in the aspect of, I mean, I think maybe we should have had some meetings before we actually.
That's why
Right.
I'm asking why you
Right.
waited so long. I mean,
Alright.
we did talk to you today, and I do truly feel that we can have some great conversation before July 6th.
Okay.
It was on the ballot, the police levy failed.
So
Yeah,
moved.
that's not,
So moved.
that's not the reason it failed, dogs were on there.
You guys did?
Mrs. Deaver,
Yes.
Mr. Santo?
Yes, only if you guys call me tomorrow.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes. Motion two, to approve Captain Tom Collins' severance payment in the amount of $61,863.09. The severance was calculated pursuant to the rules set forth in the FOP contract.
So moved.
Second. You want second It's in the contract, so. Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Deaver?
Yes.
Fire Department, Chief Schritzer.
So for the month of April, we ran 381 incidents, 10 were of the fire nature, one overpressure rupture explosion, 224 rescued emergency medical incidents, 18 hazardous conditions with no fire, 72 service calls, 33 good intent calls, 22 false alarms, and 1 severe weather natural disaster event, for a total of 381. We are down 93 calls to date, as compared to 2024 at the end of April.
Sounds like you had a busy, though.
It was busy, but not too bad.
So we need a motion to approve the hiring of Nicholas Handwork as a PT firefighter, conditional on the passing of his pre-employment testing.
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Shepherd? Yeah, both of you. Mr. Shepherd?
You said it all
Just
the
put
same.
it together.
Yes.
Mrs. Deaver?
Yes.
Mr. Santo?
Yes.
And then a motion to approve the hiring of Connor Sullivan as a PT firefighter, conditional on the passing of his pre-employment testing.
So moved. I'll second.
So moved, yes,
Mrs. Deaver?
Yes.
Mr. Santo?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes. One of my favorites, zoning. Don, or?
Yeah.
First,
You
okay.
don't wanna talk to Darren. I have 17 properties on the nuisance complaint list under Ohio Revised Code 50587. You guys were provided a copy of one of those. Most of these are high grass and weeds. It's that season. I know we had a special meeting last week for it as well. We're keeping up as best we can. We go by these calls by complaint only, so if you guys see high grass or weeds, please call our office so we can put it on our list.
And when we're out, if we see something,
Yeah.
obviously we have it. So moved.
Second. Mr. Santo?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver? Yes.
Yeah, I'd ask the board to approve a motion to find the following motor vehicles meet all the following criteria: 3 model years or older, apparently inoperable, and extensively damaged, including but not limited to any of the following: missing wheels, tires, engine, transmission. Declare the following vehicle public nuisance on the Highway Code 55.871. In order to removal of the junk vehicle from 14 days after notice is served. For the property owners, we've got 1318 Northfield Drive, an inoperable red Chevrolet Caprice Classic with an expired license plate CK12DH parked in exposed manner within the driveway. An inoperable Chevrolet Monte Carlo with expired license plate FIC 2803 parked in exposed manner within the driveway. An inoperable blue Oldsmobile Lacrosse with an expired license plate HCE 5133 parked in exposed manner within the driveway. And then we'll move over to the Campfield zip code 3325 Starwood Drive. We've got an inoperable red Dodge Charger with expired license plate HEY 9671 parked in exposed manner within the driveway.
I never see that list. None of them.
You wanna know something? 'Cause it's right here. I didn't get it done. I'm just going off the letters that I sent. Hey, I'm old, I'm slow.
Don? It's on you, Don.
I did the grass and weeds.
Yeah, both those property owners got letters.
I have a question.
Katie.
If there's a property in your.
Katie, not now, please. Sorry, word of motion. Thanks. I'll so move the list.
Second, I don't want to share the
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver? Yes. Mr. Santo?
Yes.
That's all for zoning, unless you guys have questions.
I don't. At the end, Katie, I'll let you.
Okay, it was just about, like, if there's a reoccurrent, like, if you have a house next to you that you know someone died or it's vacant, what should you do? Like, should you call?
Yeah, obviously, we run into that this time of year. If a home becomes vacant, you have to call the township. We will cut the grass. If we have to cut the grass all summer, the best we're gonna do is probably once a month. But once we cut it, you don't see any action over there, call us again. You just gotta keep calling us, cause there's just so many of these. And we do respond to complaints, and some of them we've got some from last year where I don't really need people to call me, but just to be sure it doesn't get missed. A week or so after we cut it, you see nobody over here, just call zoning again. And you can leave a voicemail, just give us the house number, street, you don't have to identify yourself. But the best we're gonna be able to do is cut it about once a month. And the reason for that is we have to go through this bureaucratic process that is a wealth of paperwork, but it's required under the Highway Code because we are using taxpayer dollars to improve private property. And then ultimately, we put liens on the property to recoup our costs. So it's cumbersome, it's not the best way to do it, but it's the only way that we can do it as a township under our Highway Code. So we just ask, call, leave a voicemail. If you talk to one of us, we don't care who you are, you don't have to tell us who you are, or shoot us an email. Oh, we also have a anonymous complaint form in the zoning page on our website. You can go to that complaint form and just tell us what the problem is. It's anonymous, but if you do that, don't end it with a question as if I'm going to email you back or call you because I don't know who you are. If you have a question, shoot an email or call us, but that happens about once a week. Somebody will have a question. Why is this so? I don't know who you are, so I can't answer the question.
Todd Schaefer, Parks Department.
Well, we finally got a chance to start cutting. We will cut grass as fast as we can when the weather allows. It's gonna take us a couple weeks to get caught up. We haven't even started any of the outside satellite parks yet. But we will get to them as quick as we can. May 15th, the splash pad company will come in and put together the splash pad, turn the water on, get everything running for the summer. I will not be opening it up on the 15th. I probably will not open up until the weekend of the 23rd. But after I confer with Mark and the board, I will announce that on the park Facebook page as to when we will open the splash pad. Concerts start Tuesday, June 3rd. They will run through August 26th, regular time 7 to 8:30. I also want to remind the residents that the garbage bins at the park are not for personal dumping. Those are to be used if you have one of the pavilions rented, or if your family is having a picnic somewhere out at the park, you could use those. But if you bring your personal garbage and stuff to dump out at the park, this time of year it gets pretty bad out there with that. So just a reminder that that is illegal. The last thing I want to say is social media and Facebook. Instead of believing everything you hear and read on Facebook, if it's about a certain department or anything dealing with this township, talk to a department head or one of the boards before you start believing and passing along this information. Last 2 days, I have seen so much crap on Facebook about this town that is untrue and demeaning to this town. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of reading it about our town on Facebook. The misinformation and everything else about this board, these department heads, and this town in general. If you have a question, call one of us. As Mr. Santos always says, not only is his door and phone open, so is ours. If you have a question about our department, call us. We will be more than happy to answer your question instead of listening to somebody that does not have any information at all and just spews off at the mouth on Facebook. And that's all I have for today.
I'm here, right? Can you tell them when the music in the park's gonna start and who's our first band?
Yeah, it starts Tuesday, June 3rd, and it'll be Sin City and the Saints.
Thank you.
And to touch on the dumpsters, Mr. Santos, did you not receive a grant recently?
We did, because with your guys' support, I applied for a Shine a Light on Dumping grant. It wasn't much, it was only $4,700 and some change, but that's $4,700 that we don't have to use of our own money. Not to mention just the funds to fix the problem, but all the time, the labor that is involved with trying to pick up dumping. So what happens is on the weekend, RSCR park gates open. Individuals go behind the maintenance shed and they'll illegally dump. And our guys gotta spend the hours on end, picking up all that stuff, you know, getting a contractor out there. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time wasted when they could be out there mowing the satellite parks. As well as the second location is the Barrington Court area as well. So what we're gonna do is we got a gate to secure those two locations. Obviously no vehicle should be back at Barrington Court, so that shouldn't need any opening and closing. But on the weekends, when they're done, they can make sure no one goes back there and dumps, which causes a lot of labor and cost, and just a whole mess. So we couldn't have done it without you guys, and I wanna definitely thank State Representative Lauren McNally for assisting with that. She definitely helped us get that. And, you know, she's done a lot by forwarding all the grants to us, and some meet the criteria, some don't. But we'll apply for every single one. I'd rather apply for 100 and get told 99 times. It's that one time that makes it worth it.
All right, Senior Center, Mr. Henshaw.
Okay, I got a couple things. We got a couple new things coming up in June. Working with the fire department, we will be putting on a first aid class for the seniors, which I think is something they've been asking for quite a while, so we're finally gonna get that done. We have an interesting thing called fraud bingo coming up, and it's being put on by one of the outside organizations, but they play bingo, but instead of having B2, you'll have, I'm in jail, Grandpa, how do I get out? And all the, seniors are, I can't tell you, almost every single day, somebody comes into my office, I got this phone call, I got this text, I got this email, is it for real? And you all have to look at it and say, nope. I mean, it's, now with AI coming up, I guess it's even getting worse, because now they're doing that. So please, if you do have that, don't answer those things, please. There is no free lunch. And I do have an interesting statistic. We're a very active senior center. We're very busy. And I didn't realize exactly how busy it was until I got the statistics so far this year. So far this year, we have had 20,995 service hours. That is through the end of April. That's more than we had all last year. We're busy. I mean, last year the total was like 19,000 some hours. We've had 20,000 just through 4 months. And I've seen it myself. I mean, this place is packed sometimes on certain days of the week. So, I guess we're liked by somebody out there. Or at least we're doing something right, I don't know. That's about all.
Thank you. Fiscal, Ms. Leibel?
Just some quick stats on fiscal. I'll have more at the staff meeting, more detail, but as of right now, at the end of April, our budget should be at about 33% received and expended. Looking at the general fund, we received 39.5%. We spent about 13%. Road department, we have in almost 43%. We've spent 27%. Police department, we've received in about 42%. We've spent 30.975. Fire department has 54% in, and they've spent 35.71, which is a little above the 33%, but we did make a big truck payment early in the year, so that accounts for most of that. Park department has in about 36.5%, and their spending's at 24%. So again, under the 33%. Senior center has about 82% in on revenue, so that revenue number might have to be adjusted later in the year, but they're spending at 31.29% of what they have appropriated. So again, they're under the 33%. And the only other one I have is communications. It's an offshoot of the general fund, but they have about 50% of their income in. Their income comes from, the county has given us a lot, and it also comes from other townships that we help dispatch for. So it's kind of a unique fund, and very happy to see that right now their spending's at 33.5%. So what the county's done for us, what the other communities have done for us is really helping to keep that just right on track.
So we need a motion to accept April report submitted to the board for review, A through, go through A through D?
E.
Or E? Include fire? Okay. So A through E.
Second.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Deaver?
Yes.
New business. Motion is needed to authorize the township administrator to take steps and execute all agreements necessary to provide for the renewal of the township Otarma's insurance. Mr. Diapolito?
That is our vehicle liability, our government bonds for our employees, all of those things. It is a cooperative insurance program through the Ohio Township Association, whereby rather than us purchasing insurance on the commercial marketplace, we purchase it together as a group, and they manage an insurance fund on behalf of all the townships. So it's basically paid as an assessment, and if there is a bad claims year across the state, you get a call, which means you have to pay, and if it's a really good claims year, you might get a rebate. So, at this point, I'm just executing documents to see what our rates are and our portion of the state's fund.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes. And letter B, motion to release the prosecutor's opinion per email from Assistant Prosecutor Karen Gaglione to Administrator Mark Diapolito on Tuesday, April 15, 2025 at 12:51 p.m. relating to the appointment of the Fiscal Office Assistant Fiscal Officer 2025 MISC 0543/2024. I like to say MISC 0686.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
And under the Ohio Liquor Control Division, letter A, whether to request a hearing on notice to legislative authority on the stock transfer of Nick Dadaba Incorporated, DBA Nick Dadaba, 870 North Canfield Niles Road, Unit B and Patio, Austintown Township, Youngstown, Ohio, permit number 6381741, permit class ES D1D23. Chief, any comments on that liquor permit? What is it?
It's an Indian restaurant.
Korean one?
No, I think it's Indian. Yeah. No, it's Korean.
It's further down by the hotel. Is that the old,
It's behind the hotel.
Yeah, the subway.
Behind the shell.
It's where Sadie had his
Sadie's
restaurant.
old place.
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. All right, chief has no opinion on it, then motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd, before you go further, the next one, would the board consider tabling that? I sent the owner of the facility a letter. He has to go through a conditional use hearing with the Board of Appeals. He did reach out to us, and I believe he will do it, and maybe we can table it and then address it at your next meeting. But for right now, I would prefer that you not approve it.
So I'll make a motion to table, letter B until the next organizational meeting.
So
Is
moved.
that enough time?
I hope so.
Okay, second.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
And C, whether to request a hearing on notice to legislative authority on the stock transfer of Clafters Incorporated, DBA Smoker Friendly, number 12, 1698 South Raccoon Road, units 2 and 3, Austintown, Ohio, 44515. Permit number 46894, 600010, permit class ESC1. Anything, Chief? Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Beavers?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
And then remarks from the board. Mrs. Devers?
Hi. I want to thank everyone who participated in my Easter chunk hop that I was coordinating. I appreciate all the support. It was a great event, so I would like to thank Austintown Rotary, Austintown Junior Women League, the Party Space, Austintown Walmart, New Road Church, Chick-fil-A and the Mobile Library, Molnar's, Rita's, and Charlie's, and of course our police and fire department for participating as well. This was a great event, and I hope for it to grow next year. Also, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2025 for reaching this milestone, and that we are definitely proud of all of them, and they need to go show the world what the Falcons can do. I also want to recognize that it's Teacher and Nurse Appreciation Week, because they change lives every day. And we're better because of a nurse or a teacher. Also, I would like to wish everybody here, all the moms, a happy Mother's Day this Sunday. And I thank you for being here, and thank you for loving Austintown and being here.
Mr. Santos?
Obviously, I concur, and I want to reiterate, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Don't want to sound like a broken record. Some good news is we are making some headway, I believe, knock on wood. So this Wednesday, myself and Bruce Shepis, Monica wants to do everything she can to come. Hopefully she can find an avenue she can escape from her restaurant to come down Wednesday. But we're actually testifying to the Senate on the government reform and one of the committees, sorry, one of the many committees the Senate has in regards to the whole dispensary fund. So right now, House Bill 96, it passed the House. It's right now going to the Senate revenue. So right now, it has it down to, of the 10%, the local community that has the dispensary will receive 20%, and it will only last 5 years as long as the dispensary is open by June 20th. Although if it's open afterwards, then they don't get the money at all. So we're very confident from some of the individuals we talked to at the Senate side, they will alter it. They do see the need in some of the communities, especially townships being 88.5% funded through property tax, that hopefully they'll be able to understand that this needs to be a partnership between the two. So we'll be out there. We even have a couple meetings set up with Al Petrona, Lauren McNally, as well as one senator, I can't pronounce the last name, I feel bad. And if she watches this, she's gonna kill me. What's her name? Sorry. No, not Monica Blaisdell. Roggenberg, if I pronounce that right. So we're hoping that everything works out. Hopefully we'll come back with some good news.
Well, it sounds like they listened to us the first time we went down there. Instead of getting it, indefinitely, they took it away from us. We testified. Robert did really well on the floor there, and they're giving us 5 years. We're hoping to change that 5 years and extend it for the life of the dispensary is what I would like, and I will be testifying, fighting for that. I oppose the June 20th date. As we all know in zoning, there's a lot of red tape and some challenges, along with the county and lease agreements with landlords. And that's the points I'm going to try and make to the Senate Budgetary Committee. And hopefully they listen and extend that date, because I don't know that our dispensary will be open by June 20th.
Everyone grab your hammers. Let's make it happen. No, that's all right. Thank you. I mean, it's good. One thing I will say is that when we were down there last time, of all the legislators that were there, and I hate seeing all these lobbyists there. That's all you see. But there was actually a full front of local officials fighting this initiative, advocating for this, which I think is actually helping them sway in the correct way. Because after all, in November 2023, we all voted for it. It was on the ballot. The ballot was very specific that of the 10%, the hosted community gets 36. Our stance is we don't care what happens to the other 74. It's theirs. They can redirect it wherever they want. Just give the hosted community their 36%, which will help offset a lot of costs in the near future, and the ability to direct it to whichever fund we need. Other than that, wish us luck. There is something else. I don't want to sort of like jinx it. So hopefully we come back with some better news. I do know that what's happening, I know I'm all about transparency, but I'm really suspicious, or not suspicious. Who's what I'm looking for? Superstitious. It's been a long day. Thank you. So let's hope that things work out. Because if it does, it means a huge chunk of funding from the state back to the local township, and I would be honored that it actually goes through. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Just a reminder that Myers is opening on the 8th, this Thursday, at 6 a.m. I know they're giving gift cards away to the first 200 customers.
I'm supposed to be the first 200.
Oh, I'm not going. My wife can go. So listen, I mean, we all know, the police levy failed, and we said that we wait at least 1 year before we discussed even putting it on the ballot, which would be this November, and then we haven't begun talks about it. What I will say is, when that levy failed, and before it failed, we redlined the entire budget with a different chief, and this board went over and we made some cuts, some drastic cuts, and it helped. There's a lot of misinformation, like Mr. Schaefer said. There's a bunch of retirements and they're saving money. Well, there's also a lot of payouts and cash outs in those retirements. So initially, there is no savings from a retirement. it's a big expense for the township when somebody retires. However, down the road, a year or two, there will be savings. However, do we have a year or two? No. So I wanted to clarify that. As you know, and as you saw tonight, it's our job. We make tough decisions. So we make half the people happy and half the other half unhappy. That's just the way it is, whether they're our township employees or the taxpayers. That's what we were elected to do, to make the tough decisions. And I am absolutely 100% comfortable with that. That's what I signed up for, and that's what I will do on behalf of you, the taxpayer. So as you saw, we redlined something else, and that was the K-9 units. And with the support and the agreement of the chief of police, we made those cuts. Hopefully, there's an alternative means and those officers come through, and we will revisit it. However, there will be additional cuts. We continue to look at that budget every single day. There'll be comments being made. Well, they're doing this out of the general fund. They're paying somebody else, or they're giving someone else a raise out of the general fund. That money could be used for the police. No, the police has their own budget. They shouldn't be taking any money from the general fund. Maybe some small incidental things happen, you run over on a couple things. The levy failed. And we're dealing with that. There are certain departments, and I know we've mentioned this before, that get paid from the general fund, such as clerical, zoning, garage,
Maintenance. Some extent.
maintenance.
Yeah, some extent.
That's what the general fund is for those departments. Not for fire, not for PD, not for road. So that's part of some of this. I'm not on Facebook, and I'm glad that I'm not, or social media. And I know people reach out there, where's Bruce, where's Bruce? Well, you know where Bruce is? I'm here at the township, call me. Call the secretary, call my cell phone. I'd be glad to talk to you and meet with you and have a cup of coffee. I do it all the time, every week. Some of you are in this room right now. So thank you tonight, and happy Mother's Day to everybody. Meeting to motion to adjourn?
So moved. Executive session.
Oh, it's executive, motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mrs. Seaver?
Yes.